So it does appear that I am coming up on the Cathedral de Notre Dame here in Paris. It's kind of, according to most, it's a shell of the place it was, but it still stands out on the horizon when you look down the river here. It's a pretty incredible sight coming up on it. Okay, so there are a bunch of guards cocking their weapons. Weird. I mean, I went up to the gate. They are blocking people from getting anywhere closer to the Notre Dame Cathedral. And I went up to them and they gave me this dirty look and actually took their ammo out and put it back in and gave me a look. And it's like, are you trying to like intimidate me? It's just, leave it to government to try and act tough while standing at a fence by the Notre Dame Cathedral. There are countless people here trying to see the Cathedral de Notre Dame right there, and there are fences up. It's not possible to get in here right now, but I'm gonna see if there's any possible way to get anywhere closer. It's unfortunate because it doesn't seem that they're allowing reporters in either, so we'll see what we can do, but there it is. There are all the people, and there are the police. It's weird how shiny badges have magical powers like that, isn't it? As I film this, May 14th, 2019, it has been, well, tomorrow will be the 1-month anniversary of the fire here at the Cathedral de Notre Dame. And it's interesting because there's a lot of news coming out regarding how they're going to make the spire eco-friendly or something like that. They are going to make it so that there's going to be solar panels in the new spire and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you know, that's the way they usually do things. They revise original ideas and change them. But one thing I find interesting is still the lack of answers regarding what the former chief architect at the building claimed. He said there is absolutely no way that the fire could have burned so quickly. As he said, it's basically impossible because the timber was 800 or so years old, and that it isn't a kind of fire that could easily burn unless there were some kinds of conductive flints, if you will, something that could have easily caught fire fast to aid in the burning of the cathedral. So it's interesting because these questions aren't answered, and it came at the perfect time. You know, I'm not going to say there was a benefit involved one way or another, but it is interesting that at the same time as this fire was happening, there were huge riots in the streets with the yellow vest, the Julian Assange arrest. All these things were happening at the same time, and this fire conveniently came in and, well, brought everyone together, quote unquote. Really, it was a whole bunch of people arguing over how it should burn, or how it needs to be preserved, or how billions of dollars should be put into it, or, you know, perhaps it's a satanic structure with a whole bunch of satanic symbols or whatever. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of divide over it as per usual, but essentially the idea is that it, quote unquote, brought people together following what happened, just like recent attacks have here in Paris, distracting people from looking at the real enemies that cause so many of the problems that we see throughout mankind, and then come in as a so-called hero to solve the same problem they created in the first place. But I do have to say it's art, and regardless of the symbolism, regardless of what it represents, I do not like seeing art in old structures burn. Obviously, it's a terrible thing to see, and it should be preserved. And we saw that a whole bunch of people came to the rescue. The free market answered. People pitched billions of dollars to fix it. Now, should that be better spent on all the people that are poor on the streets here in Paris? Probably, yeah, of course. But nonetheless, it is interesting to see that people come together and voluntarily fund things that they love, that they want to see rise up once again. And it is kind of like a vigilant effort being put forward to say, we aren't going to allow our culture to be destroyed. We aren't going to allow our structures, our art to be destroyed, and we will rebuild. So that is a beautiful thing. But I do have to say, again, there are still a lot of questions regarding what on earth happened here and why this happened. When the former chief architect says this couldn't have possibly physically happened, and no one bats an eye, that is really, really strange. There are some fake images going around, fake memes, fake stories going around, but I don't know. We should focus on what's real, and what's real is the answers are not answered, or the questions are not answered yet. So anyway, I'm gonna find out if there's any way to get beyond the fence, because that would be interesting. I have seen a couple people walk by there, but I'm pretty sure they have magical shiny badges, so that might protect them from, you know, this barrier called easily movable 5-pound fence, and police with guns that probably don't even have ammo in them. So anyway, let's check it out. Can you imagine how terrible this is for the businesses down the street? Not a single one of them has a single customer because police put up a fence. And I certainly hope they are well insured, but with that said, what are they going to pay them with, you know, government stolen taxpayer money? It's all very, very unfortunate. So this narrow street runs real close to the cathedral, so I'm gonna just see if there's any way for me to slip in. I have serious doubts, but I think it's always worth a try. Everywhere I look, there are pirates. I don't know. I honestly had no idea that this country had been taken over by pirates, but they're protecting the gigantic stone structure from more fire. I don't know, it's kind of strange. mean, the construction is actually happening over there. I'm not sure what's being protected here other than a bunch of pallets, but well, I guess that's the way it goes. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there, but I'll still have a word with one of them and see if it's possible.
Là, mais on paye ça aussi. Non, mais je veux bien, mais je veux payer en loyer.
Non, mais c'est pour avoir moi l'endroit.
Excusez-moi. Is there any way to get in? Any way to get in? No? I'm telling you guys, it's all theater. This is all theater. It's all a spectacle, bread and circuses for the masses, I'm telling you. If it were like private property or something, and there's a construction company working on a thing and they needed to map off a certain area, that's one thing. When people are getting extorted for almost all their money, as we see in France, one of the major reasons behind the Yellow Vest movement, it is unfortunate to see blatant obstruction of businesses, of people walking from point A to point B in an area where there isn't even any construction necessarily there. I mean, a crane might drive by now and then, but that's basically it. So yeah, this is what I mean. It's all theater, guys, but it is a pretty nice looking place, even when it is burnt. Should I go for it? Anyways, that's it. I'm done trying to get in there. It's not going to happen, but we got pretty close, as you could see in the background. It is a pretty incredibly beautiful place, and I'm glad I came and tried. It is what it is, though. And I should mention, as we close this off, that obviously the cathedral had burned in the past. I believe it was around World War I or something, and there was subsequent attacks and everything. Things have happened to the place, and it has been around for a long time, and it has withstood a lot. And while the wiring and everything was apparently done flawlessly, and that there was no chance of a fire, according to the chief architect, the former chief architect, apparently, one way or another, the place did burn, and it is always not a nice thing to see beautiful places burn. Whatever you might think of it, whatever you might say the symbolism represents, you very likely will be right. But it's more about the fact that works of art should never burn, history should never be destroyed. Just like I don't like SJWs destroying Columbus statues, I don't like people on the other side saying down with Cathedral. I mean, it's an incredible sight to behold, and we should preserve these places as long as possible, like we preserve any other historic monument of epic proportions. I mean, the work, the effort that went into that place is absolutely, it's beautiful. It's an incredible thing. So until next time, thanks for joining us again, and we'll be back at you with a lot more. I'm not sure what I'm doing in Paris. I honestly just have a cheap flight from here to Las Vegas, so I came over from Barcelona to Paris for a few days, and I'm going to try and get as much work done as I possibly can. Stay tuned for a lot of stuff from all over the world in these past few weeks, month. It's just been everywhere. I seem to have trekked half the world here, so it's pretty incredible. We cannot do it without people like yourselves, because this is expensive and it isn't easy. And in the end, I've been going the cheapest route, and it's been standing in my way from being able to get as much stuff as I'd like to get done. So make sure to check all those links below, and check out my other channel, which I will also link below, which I'll put more of my vlog kind of stuff on, because obviously it's not appropriate to put all my travel adventures on World Alternative Media. So check that out. We will have multiple videos going up there from these treks from an anarchist perspective. So anyway, until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson at the Notre Dame Cathedral, signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
Like what you see here, WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so heavily demonetized and censored by YouTube, as these guys come in and flag all of our content as hate speech. The shadow banning is getting really bad, guys. Also, check our Bitcoin address right here on the screen or in the description below. We really appreciate it. And of course, check us out at the Red Pill Expo 2019. Of course, the great G. Edward Griffin and so many other incredible speakers will be there. Our link for that is below as well. And we cannot forget Mike Maloney's goldsilver.com, which you can also find in the description. One of the greatest market and monetary historians out there. We really encourage everyone to check that out. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.